Good morning. So, I'm holding myself accountable because I said I was coming back. This morning, tired. And I know that you guys are tired. I know that you guys are feeling so exhausted. Can't get out of the bed. Rather just totally sleep in, not do anything. But you are holding yourself accountable, right? You said you were going to do something today. You said that you were going to get out there and walk. I know it's hot. I said I was going to be doing that. I'm going to hold myself accountable. I'm going to do what I need to do to better my life, which is one thing, again, is being here, being present. I was going to put on a little bit more makeup. I was going to put on a hat because I didn't think that I was, looking right with my hair. I'm like, you know what? It's not even about that. It's about showing up. It's about, again, holding yourself accountable, right? It's about doing what you said that you're about to do. Standing on business, as they say, right? Are you feeling crazy? I'm not going to be on here long because I want this to be a shorter message than yesterday. But I want you to know that you're not alone about what's going on in your life. A lot of people are feeling the same way, lost, crazy, not knowing what's going on with their minds, feeling like they're losing it. But just give yourself grace. Continue to give yourself grace because you're figuring it out. Nobody has it figured out. Nobody. Everybody's out here. Everybody is taking one day at a time. If you are up in the morning, if you are doing what you got to do, if you have your tea and your coffee or whatever you need to drink in the morning to get you up and going, you're doing that. It's hard. It's hard to do the right things. It's easier to just be like, you know what, I'm just going to just do that tomorrow. I'm going to get to that later. It's easier to brush things off and give other people not as much grace as you should give yourself. I'm learning how to be softer. I think a lot of people are learning how to be softer now. I don't know whether it's the average age of this country, which is 39, which is millennial age. So a lot of millennials are the adults in this country now. And when I mean millennials, I mean like the geriatrics and the ones that were born in like the late 90s. So a lot of those Americans are getting up there, knees cracking, Charlie horse in every muscle, minds a fogging. Perimenopause is a perimenopausing. Hormones are crazy. Back hurts. And if you have children, especially young children, and you are a millennial, more power to you. God bless you. Okay? Because you guys are the real heroes. Right? And not to discount all of the people that don't have children, because there are many, many struggles that people go through that cause a lot of the issues and stresses and anxieties that just crowd our minds every day, not just children. But I know that us getting older, the ones that graduated high school in like the early aughts, the 2000, 2001 through 2004 or 5, I know that we are feeling it right now. I know that we are seeing signs. We are seeing the synchronicities every day. We are noticing the weird stuff going on in the world more than anyone. The older folks, our parents, the baby boomers, and if you have older parents, the ones from the silent era, the ones that were born before, I would say 45, 1940, in that era, then they're just coasting right now, right? They're just taking it easy because they're retired, they're up there in age, they're enjoying their Social Security, their pensions, things that we don't have. Millennials are going to be lucky enough to get a crumb in our Social Security, right? I don't even know if a lot of people even, especially the Gen Zs, even know what Social Security is. When we were millennials, when we were getting brought up, we were taught to do good in school, go to college, get a good job. And when I mean get a good job that will pay you well for you to live, paycheck to paycheck, and get that Social Security. Living, if you're lucky, you could get that too. But right now, everybody is straight up surviving, and there is a big difference between surviving and living. Everybody out here is surviving to see another day, struggling to see another day, if that. If they wake up in the morning and they are healthy, not with an ailment, able to eat, able to be clothed, able to have a home in any way, shape, or form, whether it's a car, a van, a RV, an apartment, a house. I'm not saying 4 walls anymore, because people are living in their cars and their vans. I mean, it's a legit lifestyle now. Van life is a legit lifestyle. And again, with millennials and a lot of older Gen Zs, they are transitioning to van life, because getting an apartment or getting a house, what is that? The average age in this country, again, is 39, but the economy isn't getting any better, especially for us, especially for those who can barely get a job, let alone afford rent or mortgage, right? I mean, what's average rent in this country? $1,200, $1,300? That's a lot of money. You go overseas, you could get a good place for $500-$600 a month. If you buy a tiny home for like $80,000, if that, you could rent some land to plug up your electricity or whatnot for $500, $600 for the lot. You know, that may include water, trash, maintenance on the land that you're renting. But again, you're renting that land. You don't own anything. And when I say own, nobody owns any land in this country, right? The bank owns that land. Even if you pay off your mortgage, the bank still owes that land. The bank could come in at any time and take your house because it's their land. You are renting that land, even though you paid for that, because you pay taxes on it every year, right? Even though you pay for your house. You're paying taxes because you're renting that land. Unless it's ancestral, which is hard to come by these days. I mean, I don't know, unless you have like a right, a claim, or your family has lived on this land for hundreds of years and your grandfather did, I don't know. But again, that's like, I mean, are you Amish, or are you know, you got a ranch in Idaho, Montana? I don't know. But I'm pretty sure whoever's watching this, I'm not even gonna say, I mean, maybe you do live in one of the prairie states, the western states. Maybe you are Amish and you're watching this. I thought Amish people don't do electronics, but you know, hey, whatever. You know, we're becoming more digital and I don't know. Granted, we should all probably move back to living like Amish people, living off the land, because before we know it, and again, these are with the signs. And I'm not talking about the movie, the M. Night Shyamalan movie with Mel Gibson and with Joaquin Phoenix. I'm not talking about that movie. I'm not talking about that. You know, aliens and all that. That's for another video. We could go into that another time, okay? But I'm talking about the signs of there's something happening. I don't know whether it's digital. I don't know whether it's a collapse about to pop off, a major crisis. I don't know. But people, it's like propaganda, I believe, that the powers that be want everyone to think that we're heading towards a digital age. Everything is becoming AI. Everything is becoming more electronic, technology based. Get with the program or get left type of vibe. But I really feel like it's not going that way. I feel like we're on the, I told my husband this the other day, I feel like we're at the mouth of a fall happening. We're at the precipice of a waterfall of events. I keep on seeing Niagara Falls in my mind's eye. I don't know whether you're there or whether you are watching the phenomena of Niagara Falls right now, but imagine if you were coming up to the edge and you're about to fall off. That's what I feel like this world is coming to. I feel like that's why a lot of and my throat chakra is closing up. I feel like that's why a lot of the top 1%, you know, the major secret society people are scrambling, getting their ducks in a row right now, trying to get their little golden bunkers or whatever in order because they know what's about to pop off, and they want everyone to just be ignorant and go with the flow of AI, and everything is going to be like the movies. Everything is going to be, you know, beautiful, flying cars, and everything is going to have a robot attached to it and a voice attached to it that talks to you back, that type of vibe. When, if you remember this show on NBC in the 2000s called, was it Revolution? Look it up. It's about what happened to the world after the power grids went out, which is going to happen inevitably. Power grids are going to go off. The charts are going to come down. They're going to shut off. And without power grids, it shows legit we have nothing. Without electricity, without the internet, without social media, you know, running our lives, without our phones, computers, you know, without motherboards and power stations, and without any of that, we don't have any type of communication. We don't have anything. We have Gilead going to pop off, having to learn how to be a society all over again, having to learn true survival skills that we don't know anything about. This world has truly been spoiled. I don't know if that's a part of the curse. When I mean curse, I mean, you know, this land, I believe, has been cursed for hundreds of years by many, many indigenous tribes across this world, not just this country. Even though I feel like this land is blood-soaked with the tears of our ancestors. All the curses that were placed upon these lands by our ancestors many, many moons ago, by indigenous tribes, by the Africans that were brought over here on the boats, from, you know, all the atrocities that happened to them hundreds of years ago. I don't understand why people feel like this world isn't due for the repercussions of that. You know, all that you feel in this air, the energy, this world, something happening to it, the amount of devastation that many lands are going through right now, wars, greed, inflation beyond belief. I mean, people can't even afford eggs. It's ridiculous. That's the monitor to watch my child. Let me see if he's still asleep, so I'm gonna shut this off. I'm not gonna pull any cards today. You know, that was a distraction to try to get me off my message. I just felt like I had to come on today because, again, I want to hold myself accountable to get back in the groove of being here, if not every day, every other day, to bring a message, not only through cards, but through my mind's eye, through my spirit, through what I feel is going on. I feel that everyone should start to get prepared for not the worst, because I don't want to generate a spirit of fear in people, but awareness that something is happening. And I want everyone to start believing in signs. And I don't want you to think that this is a bunch of woo-woo, because I know I know how people feel. I know how people think about that, signs and magic, and that I don't believe in that. That's fake. That's movies. Where do you think people get that from? Where do you think people get those ideas from? You think it just pops out of thin air? You think magic doesn't exist? Spirituality doesn't exist? You need to research history. There are ancient civilizations that survived strictly off of spirituality. What do you think religion is? I mean, basically, religion is a concentrated doctrine made up from, now, I won't even get into that, because people could talk about religion and get hated on so bad. But spirituality is the base of religion. And I don't care where you're from. I don't care what God you believe in, what gods you believe in. It's all based off of spirituality. I want everyone to feel that they're not crazy. When you see someone in your mind and then you see their name, when you are thinking of a number, or when you see the same number over and over and over and over and over again, and you're like, why am I seeing this number over and over and over again? When you are thinking of a song and then the song pops up on the radio or in your playlist or on the TV on a commercial, when you are thinking about a celebrity, or if you see a celebrity in your dreams and then you hear about them in the news the next day or that same week, and you're like, I just heard about, I just saw them, I just was thinking about them, I was just thinking about that song, I was just thinking about what is going on. That's a sign. Something is happening in your life, whether you need to pay closer attention to it. If it's a name and you see it over and over again and you know someone with that name, something is happening in that person's life. If you see a birthday over and over and over again and you know someone has that birthday, something's happening to that person in their life. You're not going bananas. This is happening to a lot of people out here. A lot of people do not want to talk about it because they don't want to be seen as crazy. There was a time where people could openly talk about these things and not be seen as, what are you talking about? I don't believe in that. Or stop talking about this. This is nuts. This is crazy. You're bananas. You're losing it. I don't believe in what you're saying. Those times are gone now. Just start being conscientious, I'm hearing, of what's going on in your life. Pay attention to things. Know that things are happening for a reason. There are no coincidences. None. If you're being called to do something, you should do it. Only if it's healthy. Only if it's of the good and of the light. If it's dark, if it's negative, if it's evil, you need to defeat that within your spirit. Because there's a whole bag of demons being unleashed on this world, and I know you feel it. I know you're probably laughing at, what is she talking about? But I know you know what I'm talking about. It's not just natural disasters, okay? It's not just volcanoes and earthquakes and tsunamis and the earth cracking open. It's not just that. It's not just things you can see. It's things you can't see that's going on. Like, wake up. There's a reason why you see a bunch of movies and TV shows coming out in the droves about supernatural things. There's a reason for that. There's a reason why things are going that direction versus back when I was growing up and it was just like a bunch of rom-coms and a bunch of You Got Mail and Sleepless in Seattle and Love Jones and 10 Things I Hate About You, or things like that, movies like that. It then starts shifting over to an increase of superhero movies. You know, a lot of the Superman started really coming out, not in movies and TV shows. I mean, it started really popping off, right? I mean, we had Supernatural, we had, oh my God, what was that TV show based on Superman on the CW or the WB? I didn't watch it, so I probably can't think of it right now, but and now we have Marvel coming out every year with a new superhero. DC coming out every year with a new superhero. Star Wars on the increase. I mean, Star Wars started in the 70s, and now it's like every year we're coming out with a new series, a new movie. You go on Netflix. If it's not crime based, then it's going to be something about the supernatural. Guaranteed. If it's not spooky, like haunting, you're going to see something about angels, demons. You're going to see something about magic. You're going to see something about things you can't understand with your eyes. You're going to be seeing things like that. It's on the rise, and it's like, it's not for no reason. There's signs. Pay attention. Wake up. Again, I'm not crazy. You know, I'm very alert, very aware of who I am. You know, I'm using my voice for this reason. If you think that I'm crazy, okay, well, you know what? People thought Einstein was crazy. People thought, a lot of people that made a lot of sense were crazy. And then eons later, we still talk about those people in history. I'm not saying I'm going to be written about in history or anything, but I'm just saying, it's okay if you think I'm crazy. I don't care. But I could guarantee you're going to be thinking about what I'm saying. Like, yeah, I do see things and I don't talk about it, but it's because I don't want to talk about it. That's okay too. But as long as you are becoming aware of what's going on here, as long as you're continuing to, again, wake up, do what you need to do, stay alert, and holding yourself accountable, don't think you're crazy. You're here and you're aware. And you deserve the world so much more. Because you're worth it. If no one told you that, I'm telling you that. And you're beautiful. If no one tells you that, then I'm telling you that. And I'm gonna leave you with, again, be the peace that you want in your life. Do that for yourself. I'm gonna go. We're already at 31 minutes.